Hello everyone, I am Abhilasha Ghoshewal from Department of Pharmacology. Today we are discussing on topic Parkinson's disease. Firstly, we will see the introduction of Parkinson's disease. Parkinson's disease is a neurological disorder that results in a progressive loss of coordination and movement. Disease is characterized by the loss of approximately 50 to 70% of the dopaminergic neurons in the substantia nigra, a profound loss of dopamine in the stratum, and the presence of intracytoplasmic inclusions called Lewy bodies. There are four cardinal symptoms: resting tremor, muscle rigidity, bradykinesia, and postural instability. Etiology of Parkinson's disease. They are caused by the genetically due to environmental toxins and due to endogenous toxins and from cellular oxidative reactions. Two major pathogenic hypotheses: misfolding of proteins, mitochondrial dysfunction, and oxidative stress. Pathophysiology of Parkinson's disease. The pathophysiology of Parkinson's disease is only partially understood. The Parkinson's disease is caused by loss of dopaminergic neurons in the area of brain called substantia nigra. Neurons in the substantia nigra produce dopamine, a neurotransmitter, transmits signals from the substantia nigra to other parts of the brain, and these other parts of the brain are collectively called basal ganglia. The presence of globes of protein called alpha-synuclein found in the neurons called Lewy bodies. Alpha-synuclein is a protein and is found in neuron. Then Parkinson's disease is also caused by the genetic mutation, and they may form a protein accumulation. Other is non-genetic inheritance, in that they increases the reactive oxygen species and may form a oxidative stress, and ultimately cell will be death. Anti-Parkinsonian drugs. The drugs which are used in the treatment of Parkinson's disease are called as anti-Parkinsonian drugs. Classification of anti-Parkinsonian drugs. There are two main classes: drugs acting on dopaminergic system, drugs acting on cholinergic system. Mechanism of action of anti-Parkinsonian drugs. Firstly, we will see the dopamine producing neuron. So here, inside the dopaminergic neuron, dopamine is synthesized in two-step process, starting with the amino acid tyrosine. First, with the help of enzyme tyrosine hydroxylase, tyrosine get converted to levodopa, and in the second step, the levodopa formed by tyrosine hydroxylase. It's quickly decarboxylated by another enzyme called aromatic L-amino acid decarboxylase, and to form a neurotransmitter dopamine. Dopamine is then loaded into synaptic vesicles and released by a physiological stimuli into the extracellular space, where it can bind to dopamine receptor that are expressed on the postsynaptic neuron. Finally, excess dopamine in the synapse is reuptaken back into neuron or into glial cells, where it metabolized by monoamino oxidase and catechol O-methyl transferase. It's important to note that while the monoamino oxidase enzyme exists in two forms known as a type A and type B, the type that is predominantly found in the glial cells is the MAO type B. Now let's move towards the discussing drugs used in the treatment of Parkinson's disease. Starting with one of the most commonly drug, that is levodopa. But first things, you may wonder, well, why would you use the precursor of dopamine instead of dopamine itself? It's because of the blood-brain barrier. Blood-brain barrier is tightly packed layer of endothelial cells that restricts free access of molecules between the blood and the brain. Dopamine happens to be one of those molecules that cannot freely pass through this barrier. However, levodopa can with little bit of help. One of the biggest problem levodopa faces on its own is peripheral metabolism. There are two major enzymes in periphery which causes breakdown of levodopa before it can reach the brain. That is peripheral decarboxylase, which converts levodopa to dopamine, and COMT, which converts levodopa to 3-O-methyl-DOPA. Because of this, levodopa must be administered with another agent called as a carbidopa, which inhibit dopamine decarboxylase and thus reduces the metabolism of levodopa in the periphery. Another agent that is used in combination with levodopa and carbidopa is entacapone, which inhibit peripheral COMT, catechol O-methyl transferase, and thus just like carbidopa, it prolongs the time that levodopa is available to the brain. Now levodopa is carried across blood-brain barrier by amino acid transporter. Once inside the brain, levodopa is efficiently converted to dopamine, thus supplementing depleted dopamine in the midbrain. However, let now forget that dopamine is also susceptible to breakdown by COMT as well as MAO-B, which convert dopamine to 3-methoxytyramine and 3,4-dihydroxyphenylacetic acid. So here another useful drugs come into play, namely selegiline and rosagiline, which selectively inhibit MAO-B, and tolcapone, which inhibit COMT. In comparison to entacapone, tolcapone can better penetrate the blood-brain barrier and can act both in the CNS and in the periphery. So again, decreasing the metabolism of dopamine, these drugs helps to increase dopamine level in the brain. Then another drug which is a stimulate the dopamine receptor, and these drugs include bromocriptine, ropinirole, pramipexole, and apomorphine. Another class of drug that is antimuscarinic agent that include benztropine, bipyridine, procyclidine, and trihexylphenidil. Then side effects of anti-Parkinsonian drugs. Levodopa in combination with carbidopa, they may cause nausea, loss of appetite, hypotension, mental disturbances, discoloration of urine, sweat and saliva. Selegiline and rosagiline, they may cause nausea, insomnia, dyskinesia, visual hallucination. Another entacapone and tolcapone, which may cause discoloration of urine, sweat or saliva, diarrhea, and tolcapone may also cause liver toxicity. Dopamine agonists, they may cause nausea, orthostatic hypotension, mental disturbances, and daytime sleepiness. Antimuscarinic agent, they may cause anticholinergic side effect. They may include constipation, urinary retention, dry mouth, and blurred vision. Recent advancement in treatment of Parkinson's disease, in that medical therapies. Exenatide, which is currently used to treat type 2 diabetes, after preclinical studies have suggested its role in inhibiting cell death, reducing oxidative stress, enhancing mitochondria function, and promoting neuronal functioning. A recent placebo-controlled trial evaluated the efficacy of exenatide. Levodopa, after prolonged treatment, can develop abnormal and involuntary movements and referred to as a dyskinesia, and this symptoms is referred to as a levodopa-induced dyskinesia. And this levodopa-induced dyskinesia is treated by the drug amantadine. Parkinson's disease is a motor fluctuation, so opicapone is beneficial for motor fluctuation. It works by preventing the breakdown of levodopa, thereby extending level of levodopa in plasma. Another example, istradefylline is another promising drug for Parkinson's disease with motor fluctuations. Istradefylline blocks adenosine A2A receptor. Then another treatment for Parkinson's disease is deep brain stimulation. Thank you.